Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thursday's edition of Morning Brews. My name, of course, is Ryan Smelt, and today I want to talk to you about solutions. Over the past couple of days, maybe a few weeks, there have been some noticeable fluctuations in our numbers, which have basically made it a little bit more clear uh, who is putting forth the effort and who maybe needs a little bit more work to improve. There's also been instances where I have approached members of my team to take on different tasks, mostly short term. A couple of guys I asked to help me with a project over the course of it might have been like 2 or 3 days to square something away, and they were willing to do so. Um, so basically, in talking about solutions today, I want to talk primarily about the people in your organization and where your focus should be. So, number one, I put be quick to fire. Number two, realize the people you have who are worth it. And number three, focus your energy on those who put in the effort. Under being quick to fire, I think I'm guilty of this, being rather lenient when people either take advantage of maybe more relaxed policies that I have. One example is no call, no show is we part ways. That's written down. It's set in the expectations when we hire someone. However, one of my concerns has always been that if someone, for example, life, limb, or eyesight, heaven forbid, ends up in the hospital, um, doesn't have the ability to contact us, and maybe their family doesn't necessarily know how to get in touch with us, then it 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 can be a little bit jumping the gun to just go ahead and sever them from the workforce before talking to them to find out what actually took place. And then many times as well, I do prefer to help people out in a sense that if they come to the realization that this is not a good fit and they should part ways, then I would rather facilitate that conversation than just jump to a conclusion and tell them, hey, you're fired. It's really me just wanting to make sure that I take care of people before I just run around firing people. Not to mention the fact that right now, with me being the sole HR person, I do all of the job postings, reviewing resumes and applications, scheduling phone calls, interviews, and hiring and firing. So the more people I fire, the more people I have to interview and hire to replace them. And that takes time and energy. And sometimes it's a little bit easier to work with someone who might be willing to put in the effort than someone who's not. However, I do tend to recognize when I'm being walked all over. So one time, someone had some serious incident take place, and we had talked about it. I was willing to overlook the fact that I didn't hear from them that day because even though they may have had access to communication, it was definitely not something, if I put myself in that situation, I really would have been thinking about. And so I gave them a second chance, but in giving them that second chance, there have been other things that have taken place to make me believe they're not taking this seriously, and maybe it doesn't serve the purposes that they had previously outlined. So at that point, I decided that maybe it wasn't a good fit. Kind of outlined the reasons why with them, and then thank them for the help and send them on their way. So be quick to fire. Maybe a little bit quicker than me. I think you can sever people from your workforce without being mean, rude, or inconsiderate about it. So I understand that people have things going on, but at the end of the day, I am not running a people organization that is designed to help people out with whatever they have going on. I'm running a business, and I'm definitely happy to help someone out if they come to me and tell me they need a day off, or they need to clear their head, or they need an extra long lunch break, whatever the case may be. I can totally work with them, but just coming and going as you please, and taking advantage of what could definitely be perceived as a more relaxed policy is just not the way to run a business. So be quick to fire people. You know, there are people, and what we're going to get into next, in your workforce who appreciate the opportunity you've given them and want to do well, and they definitely communicate. So put your focus on those people, and don't worry about those who are not putting in the effort and not showing up, or taking advantage of those more relaxed policies. So, two, realize the people you have who are worth it. The flip side of the story I just told you is I have a guy who hit the ground running day one, and has really shown the effort and put in the effort, and you know, really displayed that he wants to be a part of something bigger. So you know, one thing I do with that guy is really make sure to show him different pieces of the operation, make sure that he has a more clear understanding of what is expected and how things are supposed to flow, to make sure that he wants to grow and develop, and make sure that he gets that opportunity for growth and development. So recognize those people and recognize who they are, and that pretty much brings me to number 3, focusing your energy on those who put in that effort. That's because the saying goes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. However, if I look back on my career in the Army, more often than not, that squeaky wheel was the person not doing the right thing, showing up late for formation, not having the right equipment, or, you know, going out on the weekend and doing something illegal when they should have been, you know, staying in their barracks room and doing the right thing. In the military, the bad apples have a tendency to get more attention from leadership than those excelling and seeking out, you know, a better career and better career opportunities. And so outside of the military, I've done my best to flip that script and make sure that those who show up on time and do the right thing are the ones that get the recognition for it. So that's not to say I don't do coaching with someone who is doing the wrong thing, but if I notice someone doing the wrong thing and that deserves a coaching, then I do my best to make sure I also coach the people who are doing the right thing. Like the guy I just talked about, putting in the effort, showing up, putting in 40 hours a week, and making sure to want to learn, grow, and develop as well. So that is what I have for you today in way of solutions as it relates to the people in your organization. Once again, the people who are putting forth the effort, the people who are seeking the recognition and wanting to grow and develop, both personally and professionally, are really the ones who are going to be there with the long term, for the long term. I'm going to leave you with this. I talked to a guy a while back, and eventually he became my co-host on the Veteran Talk Show, Joe, and he told me a little anecdotal story, um, basically about two guys that go out to the bar, and maybe one's the CEO and one's the, COO, and they're talking, and the one guy says to the other, "What if we train and develop all these people to the highest level and they leave?" Um, maybe it's like Apple or Google or something like that. And they're like, what if we put all this energy into making sure these people are the best people in the industry, and then they part ways with the company and they go somewhere else? And the other guy looks at him and says, what if we don't and they stay? And that really hits home for me. So the people who are putting in the effort, the people who are showing up, the people you have on your workforce, even if they're kind of a bare minimum employee, that if you set expectations with an individual and they meet those expectations, even though in your book that may be the bare minimum, that is a very successful employee. And so they deserve to be trained and groomed and developed just as much as the next person. So make sure you put that effort into them and don't worry about the bad apples. Just make sure you don't wait too long to cut them from the tree. My name is Ryan Smeltz. This is Morning Brews. If you gained anything from this episode or any other episode of Morning Brews or Business and Brews, then be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It definitely helps out with the podcast. If you haven't checked out the Veteran Talk Show, be sure to check that out. You can find both of our shows and all 4 segments at businessandbrewshow.com. In the show notes below, be sure to go to that link. Veteran Talk Show and Business and Brew Show are both on that website now as we start our new adventure. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Tell your friends to subscribe as well. And I will see you on tomorrow's episode of Morning Brews.